Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lunch Money Comics. My name is Mike, and today, once again, we're hunting for comic books, and I brought another hunter with me, my son Jack. Today we're going to a place called Zombie Hideout in Springfield, Massachusetts. It's a very cool place. They have lots of collectibles, a huge collection of Funko Pop, Magic cards, Pokemon cards, but mostly we're going there for the comic books. They have rows upon rows of long boxes. Most of them are comic books they've gotten from collections or people have sold them or traded them in. And they have a pricing that's kind of interesting. If it's a loose comic book, it's 50 cents. If it's in a bag without a board, it's $1. And if it's bagged and boarded, it's $3. But they have a special deal that if you get 4 comics that are in a bag and board, then you get a 5th one for free. So that's a pretty good deal. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a competition, Jack and I. We're each going to have $12, and we're going to pick out the best comic books we can find. Try to find some keys, try to find some oddities or just interesting comic books, and then we're going to compare. And whichever one of us has the better collection of comic books for $12 is going to be the winner. So, pretty excited for this competition, Jack?
Let's do this!
So here we are at Zombie Hideout. You get your 12 bucks?
Yep.
All right, let's get hunting.
Oh yeah, this is everybody who's coming up. You're just gonna keep for.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That's what you go for.
They're so cool.
I know, we're so cute.
That used to be next door, right?
Yeah. Well, but this place is
Cool cane cover. What you got, buddy?
I found this Fantastic Four annual with Namor and it's called Atlantis Attacks.
Cool. That's pretty cool. See, not all of them are, 50 cents, $1, or $3. Sometimes they are individually marked, but that's a very cool cover, buddy.
They're so down printed. X-Men. That's all right.
Look at Christmas special, DC Christmas special. In the 50-cent box, we have a Death of Superman. And some first editions, number 1s of the 2099 series. Not worth that much, but hey, 50 cents if you're looking to complete your collection. Daredevil. Now this one's individually priced at $6. This is the first appearance of Slide. And I do like silly, bad villains, especially Spider-Man villains. I'm gonna put this one off to the side.
Other Nightcrawler one where they're both teleporting to each other. We're welcome to Infinity Launch number 8.
No.
X-Men code. That's anything.
Let's just need like Lots of older Uncanny X-Men here. Don't see any keys or anything. Just some really cool covers. I've lost Jack to the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Some old Daredevils here. Individually priced on most of these. Some X-Men behind them. All these are pretty old. What you got, buddy?
So I have these 3 comic books. I'm on the fence about these 3. I have some comic books that are around the same number as this one, and I think this might be before Doom turns into God Emperor Doom.
Secret Wars 2.
On this one, there's Daredevil and Wolverine, which are very popular characters, and it's a really cool battle, so I'm not sure about that one either. And I always love Silver Surfer, especially this awesome art one, so I'm not sure about this one.
What about that Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four guest starring the Inhumans. That's really cool sounding, especially when it's like a nightmare themed thing.
Cool. All right, you got your loot?
Yep.
Okay, me too. Let's go pay.
Those dudes are really like.
Yeah, exactly.
Still in pretty good shape.
Okay, so we are leaving the Zombie Hideout. We're actually kind of late for a ice cream social. Kind of ran out of time, but also they're setting up for a live wrestling match in like 2 hours from now. So they were clearing people out. They do all sorts of cool events like that, like all the time. I think Sergeant Slaughter was coming. It's crazy. So we were kind of in a rush, and I wish we had a little bit more time to pick, because I don't know if we're completely satisfied with our $12 purchases. They're pretty cool, but we didn't find any like major keys or anything amazing. But still, we're gonna go home. We're gonna take them out. We're gonna compare them, look at the condition, and we'll see who the final winner is. Right?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. See you back home. Okay, welcome back home. We spent our $12 each in our competition to get the coolest comic books for $12. How do you think we did?
I think we did great.
Good. Well, we had a little bit of a situation, I guess. We had to kind of rush back. We had an ice cream party we sort of forgot about. And also, Zombie Hideout was actually deconstructing a large part of their floor to have a live wrestling match tonight.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they do lots of cool stuff like that. In fact, I think actually Sergeant Slaughter, like the Sergeant Slaughter, was going to be there tonight. So we were trying to like, pick through all the comic books, but they were moving a lot, so we felt bad kind of being there. So we didn't get to look through all the thousands upon thousands of comic books, and we didn't have much time, but I think we did pretty good. Now, in the beginning of the video, I mentioned that Zombie Hideout has like bundle packages. If you can get like 50-cent comic books or $1 comic books, or if you get like 4 $3 comic books, you get an extra one. I didn't mention that some of the comic books are just individually priced, and that's just what the price is. And it ended up being that for our $12, each of us bought 2 comic books, priced at about $6 each, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, without further ado, let's see how we did. You want me to go first? I'll go first,
Yes,
and then we'll
you'll
go
go
back and
first.
forth. Okay, the first comic book I got was this. This is The Amazing Spider-Man 272. This is the first appearance of the villain Slide. Now, I kind of like silly villains, and I really like their first appearances. Slide sort of falls into that category for me. He's a super villain that has a suit covered with like a lubricant, I guess. Lets him slide across the ground, but also makes him really hard to catch even for Spider-Man and his webs. So I saw this. I thought it was kind of cool and interesting. It's the first appearance, very, very minor key. But I thought it was pretty neat. So that's what I got. I love Spider-Man. I love dumb villains. Check them both off. What was your first comic book, Jack?
Okay, so my comic book was a Fantastic Four, a cool crossover between the Fantastic Four and the Inhumans. In this one, it's called Nightmare. It looks kind of like the Invisible Woman's like almost sinking into the floor. Human Torch is looking at a giant eye in the sky. I don't know what's happening here.
Let's show it close for the viewers at home. So this is Fantastic Four number 248. Jack does like his Fantastic Four. Most of the comic books back here on the wall that are Fantastic Fours are his. So very cool. I don't think it's a key or anything, but it's a very cool looking comic book. And as you mentioned, it has a cool crossover with the Inhumans.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. All right, for my second comic book, I got kind of an X book. So I had mentioned in a previous video how much I liked the X-Men, and especially the Excalibur team that came out in the late 80s, early 90s because I'm a big Nightcrawler fan. Well, my last video I found a Excalibur #1, but that's not actually their first appearance. Their first appearance was in a sort of graphic novel. This is the Excalibur Special Edition, written by Chris Claremont with Davis and Neary doing art. This is a really cool comic book. I have one of these in really high grade in my collection. But I like Excalibur so much that I couldn't really pass it up when I saw it. I tried talking Jack into getting it for his PC, but I don't mind having another one of these. And like I said, I was kind of being rushed, and if I see a good Excalibur book, I tend to grab it. So that was my second book. And Jack, what was your second book?
And my second book is X-Men #1. So this is one of the 4 X-Men #1 art. They all line up together to kind of create this one big picture. This is my favorite one with Cyclops, Iceman, and Wolverine. 3 very popular characters. There a lot of these have been printed, I think.
About 8 million, I think.
That's
the most
crazy.
printed comic book of all time. Yeah, we have several of these. I have a whole bunch of them. I have all the different variant covers, including the wraparound cover. But Jack didn't have any. And again, his favorite character is in the X-Men?
Cyclops.
Cyclops. And of all the different variant covers you can get that isn't the wraparound cover, I think this one's worth the most because it has Senor Wolverine right on the cover, and everybody loves Wolverine. So, good pickup, buddy. I like it.
We also have a bunch on the wall.
We do. All right. So finally, we also had like $1 extra that we had to spend. And I'll start with mine because I actually got comic books. So I got 2 comic books, 50 cents each. These are kind of silly comic books. They're not worth that much money at all, but everybody who collected comic books in the 90s will recognize these. These are Punisher 2099 #1 and Ravage 2099 #1. I have all of the 2099 #1s. I remember when I was a kid collecting them. I thought, they'd make me rich one day. And other than Spider-Man 2099, they're not really worth anything. However, these were unbagged, so they were 50 cents each. I don't mind throwing a couple more in. These are in incredible shape. The one really good thing about these foil covers is that they show, for good or bad, they show tick marks and blemishes pretty well. And this has none. These have never been cracked open ever. No one's read these. So I don't mind. I had an extra $1 to spend. I don't mind getting these for 50 cents each. And Jack also got a kick out of the fact that the back of the Ravage showed a board game. Again, should be familiar to a lot of people in the 90s. And it's a board game that we, in this house, play often. This is X-Men Alert adventure game. So he got a kick out of that as well. What did you do with your extra $1?
With my extra $1, I bought a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and here they are. My favorite card game.
So this is a comic book video channel, so good for you.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good cards, though. Like I mentioned, Zombie Hideout has lots of things, far more than comic books. They have, again, the largest Funko Pop collection of any store I've ever seen, I think. And they also have lots, 10-cent bins of Magic cards and Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and all sorts of good stuff, even sport cards. So I will put a link down in the description for the website of Zombie Hideout. I recommend anyone who's in Western New England, check them out if you're in the Springfield area. Very, very cool place. Finally, I have a couple of bonuses. I'm not submitting these for my competition. I guess we should tell the viewers to vote down in the chat of who had the better deal.
You can pause the video now and vote before we show this last part if you want.
Ooh, you can do that? Well, let's show them what we have. Let's remind them what we have. So I got the Amazing Spider-Man 272 first appearance of Slide and the first appearance of Excalibur in Excalibur Special Edition.
And I got a cool X-Men 1 art and a cool crossover between the Inhumans and the Fantastic Four in the issue called Nightmare.
Cool. All right, so yeah, like and subscribe and write down your comments who you think had the better deal for $12, and feel free to give Jack the extra sympathy vote because he's a little kid. All right, finally, I got a few more things that I got, and these are not part of the competition. They were cheap. I saw them as I walked out the door really quick. One of them is this. This is the Punisher Armory #1. So, Punisher was big in the 80s and 90s. I wasn't a huge Punisher fan, but I get the appeal. This one's kind of cool because this Punisher Armory series essentially is the Punisher talking through all of his weapons and gear, and you hear his internal thoughts. If you're a Punisher fan, these are actually really, really cool comic books to have. And I'm hoping, the Punisher seems like he's kind of hot again. There's talks that the John Bernthal version from the Netflix series is going to be in the MCU proper, similar to what they did with Charlie Cox's Daredevil or Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. I hope that's true. He was a really, really, really good Punisher, And I think all Punisher books, have a chance to sort of start going up. This one was only a couple bucks. I just like the comic book, despite not being a big Punisher fan. It's just a cool concept. So this is pretty neat. And finally, the last one I got was this. This is a DC Fighting Forces featuring Lieutenant Hunter's Hellcats. So this is an old war book from 1968, 12 center, Silver Age comic book. I just like old war books, especially if they have a really cool look to them. This is an awesome yellow cover. It's a reader copy. It's pretty beat up. There's some water standing on it, but it was cheap, and I just really, really liked the look of it. And again, it was on my way out the door, and I just couldn't say no to it. So I thought it was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Right? So, you have a fun time?
Yes.
We're going to have some more of those.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we get some better keys and stuff next time. We have more time to actually search through all the comic books there, right?
Yes.
That's it. If you liked what you saw, again, please like and subscribe to our channel. And definitely stay tuned because we're going to have many more of these, either me hunting on my own or bringing this little guy and showing him the proper way to hunt for comic book keys. The more you know, the more likely you are to find these special comic books, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Until next time, keep hunting.